everybody, welcome back to the post show. I feel like we didn't say that last week. Did we say that?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. I feel like we just started.
I said it.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
That's why it feels weird, because normally I should say it.
Well, either way, you're welcome. And this is the
You're
post
welcome.
show.
You're welcome. Do you have any obsessions?
Obsessions? I think liner
just-
gloves this week.
Well,
you know,
you
they're
even-
thin and they don't look like much, but man, do they make a difference when you're spending a long time outside and you want to keep your hands warm.
En route to Willie are heated liner gloves, if you didn't know they exist. Don't try to find them in Anchorage, because they don't exist in Anchorage. Or probably anywhere in Alaska. And they also have batteries, so it's a whole thing. But you are getting some.
I'm pretty excited.
So by workaround system, they should hopefully be arriving shortly. So maybe next week he'll talk about his new obsession, which is heated liner gloves.
Yep.
I don't really have any obsessions. What is my obsession this week? What have I been doing?
What have you been doing? Well, I would say Blue Market is your obsession this week.
Oh, yes. If you didn't know, I have a side hustle, which is very quickly becoming not just a side hustle of a business. I'm an artist, and I had a pop-up market at Blue Market, which if you don't know what Blue Market is, it's a zero waste store.
Grocery store of sorts.
Grocery store of sorts. Small grocery store where you can bring your own jars and things to fill up rice and yada, yada, yada. And I think I actually saw on their Instagram they're celebrating their 3rd year anniversary this month, which is
Cool.
very exciting. But you should check it out if you've never been. They also just sell a lot of local things, like you can get a local turkey for Thanksgiving. They have local milk and eggs and just like a lot of cool local things. We are fans of supporting the Anchorage community and Anchorage local businesses by buying things locally. And we hope that you might do the same this holiday season or in general.
Yep.
And now we're going to talk about Ross, our favorite person to talk about. We very frequently say, we love to talk about Ross.
What a swell fella that Ross.
No, in all seriousness, we do love Ross. And I do personally really love when he preaches because I think he just is very confident.
Yes.
He got a lot of laughs this week.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to
sometimes
laughs.
I like to, in my head, this is not something I do on paper, which maybe I should start doing it on paper. I like to tally because I think getting laughs at jokes that you're intending to be funny is a good judge as to whether your sermon is like landing or not, or whether it'll preach, as Ross said, to use
preach.
Ross's words. And I would say that he was like 100% in jokes that things he was intending to be funny that people laughed at.
Yeah.
Which Levi very frequently does not get that percentage.
Hey,
So
all of us.
I don't know if everyone's just more in tune because it was like a person that they're not used to seeing or what. But he, at least in the service that I attended, which was I think the first service, he just got a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
He had a lot of good jokes.
That's a good thing.
What did you take away from the sermon? Obviously, I took away that Ross can be funny.
Yes, Ross, props to your humor.
I don't think he'll ever see this because I don't think he's on Facebook, but.
I certainly took away his points to being active, but not overly active. Like the word zealous comes to mind, that yes, it's important to be passionate, but not to a point of negativity.
Yeah, and you're specifically referring to his reference to voting and being active in that way. That's what he was referencing. But I think it could
Politically
really
active.
be taken to a lot of different contexts.
Certainly.
That we should not be putting all of our hope and all of our trust and all of our faith in something other than God. Like whether that be a job or whether that be the person in political power at any level, whether that be our spouse or all these different things that the world can so easily tell us we need to be putting our faith in that. And also that are not necessarily bad things.
Right, like I appreciated his point about that, given that it's election season, and that as not just Christians, but people in general, we put so much hope in the elected positions that we choose to give our votes to. And that's certainly mostly the wrong way to do it, because while the Bible does tell us that we need to follow and be respectful of our local governments, but that God is the one who truly sits on the throne. And if we're putting our hope and our passions into our elected officials and nothing else, then we're missing the point completely that Jesus taught us.
And that we shouldn't let it destroy us if the person who we feel is maybe not aligned with our biblical beliefs is not elected.
Right.
And I think about this I think about sporting events. In college, I went to a big football school. I went to Virginia Tech. Go Hokies. And I have a lot of passion for Virginia Tech. I would not say I have an over amount of passion. And I was the same in college, where I loved to go to the football games and it was super fun. Virginia Tech has used to be really good at football. This is going to create drama, I'm sure, in the comments, but used to be really good at football, and now they've really they've had a rough go at it for the last 8 years. It's kind of back and forth. Anyways, they have good moments and they have hard moments. And all of my college guy friends would get some of my girlfriends too would get it was if we lost that day and the game was at a 10 a.m. game, they were I'm going to sit in my room alone for the rest of the day, kind of upset. And I was I feel this should not be destroying us to the point of we need to you could be oh, darn, that really stunk. That was the worst. But I always just had a really hard time with that mentality that I'm I'm going to let this very worldly thing that actually doesn't matter completely wreck me and wreck my week sometimes. And I think about that with politics. I feel people can get so emotional and so
polarized,
and that also brings up another, I think, important point that Ross didn't get into with his words, but he was kind of saying it with what he was saying in the way that he wasn't taking a stand on either side of things. He was very much just voting is important and you should care just the right amount. Not too little, not too much. And I think that's also a good reminder that we shouldn't be super concerned with who people are voting for around us.
Exactly.
We should just let people, make that determination for themselves. We should encourage people to vote, and we should encourage people to care and to research and to make an informed decision. But just like with everything else, we are going to have, each individual person is going to have their own interpretation as to who they think the most biblical leader is.
Right.
And just like you can have a disagreement with somebody about what they think about eating chicken, you can have, and you can still walk away, disagree, and still walk away being friends, and it doesn't have to attack anyone's character.
So challenge yourself with that this week as you reflect on the results of the polls that we just had. This is going live today. Election day was yesterday. Yes. And I'm sure we'll be sorting through the results for weeks to come, but nonetheless, check yourself.
And if you don't really care that much about voting and you feel you're in that good place, I think I'm in that good place where I care just enough and I don't care too much about voting. I care, I know my vote matters. Think about it in other terms of something else in your life that you can start to think about, wow, I think I really do care too much about this and what other people around me are thinking about this specific topic when I should be thinking about God. Just to make it relatable to all.
That's what we've got for you today.
All right, see you next time.